You are listening to the Four Corners podcast with Lenny Marc.
You are listening to the Four Corners podcast with Lenny Marc.
You are listening to the Four Corners podcast with Lenny Marc.
You are listening to the Four Corners podcast with Lenny Marc.
You are listening to the Four Corners podcast with Lenny Marc.
You are listening to the Four Corners podcast with Lenny Marcus.
And Neil. Welcome to the Four Corners podcast with Lenny Marcus. Joining me today, as always, from the bunker with awful sound is my co-host, Neil Potter.
You gotta put some gravy on that. Can you hear that? Come on now.
Scream, Neil, scream. 4 topics, 15 minutes each. We're just killing time. Kill it with us. Our Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is the number 4C podcast. Subscribe on iTunes. Listen to us on the Laugh Button Network, thelaughbutton.com. Today's guest is a returning guest from show number 110 of this podcast, a great comedian, hilarious raconteur, and if necessary, can play a killer timpani. It's a percussion instrument, Neil. His discography is available on all streaming outlets, and his latest recording is entitled Secret Headliner. I recommend you checking this out. He's hilarious. Neil and I get to see him every month or so hosting Zoom trivia, so the comics can get together and hate each other's smug asses more. He might have a master's in drumming, but he now has a PhD in hosting trivia for Pains in the Tush. It's Tony Deyo.
You know what's fantastic, Lenny, is that you said I could play timpani. You could have picked any percussion instrument that came to your mind, and I would have told you I'm very good at it. Timpani, I am terrible at it. And I will tell you why. Because the timpani is actually a tuned drum. It has pedals on it. And when you play a trumpet, you push down a button and it plays the right note. And a clarinet, you push down the right buttons and it plays the right note.
Right.
But a timpani, you have this sliding foot pedal, and you have to be able to hear the note when it's right. And I was terrible at it.
So it's a drum I know we had one in when I was in band a million years ago.
Of course.
But you had to. That's a note, like you can play a C.
Yes,
timpani.
It's a tuned note. It's not like a bass drum where you just get it to sound like a low note. Every note that a timp plays is tuned to a specific pitch.
Oh my God.
And you have to change them, and a lot of times very quickly. You have to crank up the low one from a G to a C, and you have to know exactly where to put, like how far to move that pedal, so that when you hit that stupid drum, a C comes out of it.
Oh my God.
A C sharp, and it's insanely difficult.
All right, I should have picked a different one. I'll come up with another one next time.
Marimba is the one you go with next time.
Ah, gotcha. Can you play
mallet solo marimba?
Can you play any other instruments other than the drums?
At one time, I could play all of them at a basic level because I went to music ed school to be a teacher, and you had to you go through every single one of them and you learn to play them so that you can teach a kid how to play them.
Oh, wow.
So I had just a passing ability on every instrument at one time.
All right.
And then immediately forgot all of them.
Well,
when I went to Texas, I was just a percussion teacher, so I didn't even have to worry about that stuff.
I see. Well, let me ask you, can I ask you some, maybe you can answer this. I knew that some of them, like, if you played the piano, it was easier to play, like, I think it was the saxophone or something rather than the clarinet. Like the clarinet and the saxophone, they're woods, but they're not as easy to just jump on one to the other, right?
Yeah. And actually, a lot of sax players double on the flute because the fingerings are very similar.
Maybe that was it. But like,
which it seemed weird to me, but
bass guitar and lead guitar, people I could play the bass, but then if they have to play lead, they can't do it. What?
Yeah, those are very, very...
Isn't guitar?
Not really, because the bass is playing just kind of the not as intricate of a part. A guitar is usually playing a lot more intricate of a part. It has 2 extra strings, so your fingers have to do a lot more on the fretboard.
So wait, but when you're playing the bass goes along with the drum, right? Like they call that?
The drummer and the bass guitar in a band will want to listen to each other because they're kind of the foundation of the music, and they have to be pretty together.
Right. And so the people playing that's why the band works or doesn't work, right? Because
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know a little music. Neil, did you ever play any instrument?
I have no musical skills at all. Even worse, it's like I know I'm going to be terrible, so I don't even even in a pandemic, I haven't even made it like a goal. Like, I mean, the language and playing a musical instrument are two things that everybody tries to do, and I still wouldn't do them. I know I'll be bad at both of them.
Yeah.
Do you?
Well,
Lenny, do you do that or no?
I definitely would. Every once in a while I have a thought that I would like to get one of those things and on the computer and learn my better French because I know a little bit, but then I'm like, nah, I got other things to do. I got too much to do with all our projects and this, I just have so much to do. It's I keep myself very busy before Birdie gets home and
yeah.
I don't know. I was like, you gotta really commit to it. But an instrument, like starting now at my age to even be mediocre. I mean, I remember what it was like just to play third clarinet and the practice I had to do just for that. And that was when you were supposedly a sponge and could do it. I hated it.
Yeah.
I think if I had a goal, Lenny, if you come out of this pandemic, go down to the cellar, and you bring up the guitar on stage, I would love to.
Yeah,
that would be Lenny's last night on stage at the cellar.
I come in, I come out of the pandemic as a guitar act. That's good. That's good. Well, this is why I have a theory, Tony, and I want to talk to you about this. So Bruce Springsteen, brilliant songwriter, but not the greatest voice of all time. And I'm like, first of all, why is this acceptable, right? It just works because the band is great. Hold on. And then I think it's the same thing. Let me equate this to Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump is dumb, so the people who vote for him are dumb, so it's dumb, right? Springsteen is a working man that can't sing, and that's basically Neil. He's a working man who can't sing, so his favorite band is Bruce Springsteen. Then you get like dumb girls like pop music because dumb girls are singing pop music. You get those vapid, good-looking, whatever. You see them in an interview like, well, I do a single about my boyfriend, And then, so it's dumb girls music for dumb girls. So it's all, and then it's me. I love Steely Dan, and that's like they're sardonic and jazzy like me. So it's like, okay. It's like people who look just like their dogs,
Exactly.
Most of the time you see a person.
You're onto something, man.
Am I?
Yeah, I think you are onto something.
Neil? Neil? Did I lose Neil?
No, that would mean that you guys are both super smart, right? So you guys both don't like Bruce Springsteen. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that we have a ear, a pitch, and we probably both like the band, but we don't like his voice. That's what I'm going on a limb. I don't know what Tony's likes at all. I'm going to say, Tony, let me go with this, Tony. I'm going to, just by knowing everything about Tony, it's going to be a little alty of a band, a little it's not going to be pop is his favorite band. It's going to be like, and somebody who could play an instrument. He's appreciating the music, so he's going to be like a Steely Dan fan or somebody. So a bands that actually can play really well. It's not going to be pop music. Am I right?
You are. I think you're right. And there's probably many people who disagree with this, but probably the band I've listened to the most in my life is the Dave Matthews Band.
Perfect. That makes sense.
The drummer, insanely good. One of the greatest rock drummers of all time.
Okay.
And if even for a guitar player, if you sit down and try to play what Dave is playing, it's so crazy difficult. It's not just like 90% of the music out there today you can play with 3 chords.
Right.
You just a 1, a 4, a 5, and you got it. You can play along with it. You cannot do that. Like I several years ago, I'd start trying to learn to play guitar, and I have a theory that if you, like, I learned to play drums by just playing along with the radio and playing along with Bon Jovi albums when I was a kid.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'll just learn to play songs that I love, and I wanted to learn Dave Matthews songs, and I couldn't. It was just impossible. They're so hard.
See, Neil? He likes my theory. Neil, what other Neil likes Springsteen, and it makes total sense because he can't sing a note. And Neil, so give me another band, Neil, that you like. What's your second favorite band?
Definitely U2. I mean, they're great.
Well,
so I would say U2 and Bruce Springsteen are the two.
And as much as I like U2 when I was in college, they never stuck. It never stuck all the way to now. And also, they're famous for not being able to play the instruments when they started. I mean, they self-taught, right? Am I right? The drummer could play a little bit, but Edge had no idea how to play the guitar.
Yeah. I saw an interview one time where they played some old demos or the original recordings of some stuff, and the Edge was listening to it, and he just couldn't believe it what he was hearing.
Well, it just shows you.
But by the way, to jump back to Bruce, I saw that Broadway show, and I was really impressed. He was a better piano player than I expected.
Ah, well, Neil, you want to tell Tony what you felt?
In that show?
Yeah,
man. I don't cry at anything. Very few things in life make me cry. So Bruce on Broadway, he's not going to do it.
Neil loved it so much. He cracked Neil. I
was crying like a baby the whole show, and then everyone around me was crying. Even
you know what moment did get me though is when he was talking, and I'll mess up the story, but the gist of it was that he managed to avoid the draft, and he was wondering what happened to the guys that went in his place. And that was that's when you're like, oh boy, I never thought of it that
Did he
way.
tell the story about meeting me in Norton in Minnesota?
Yes, he did.
They did? All right, good. Cool.
Yeah, that was in the third act of the show.
Wait, how did you get your first Springsteen on Broadway ticket? That's why you probably didn't cry.
They were not given to me. My wife Carrie Ann was just sort of on top of it. We didn't go through like a reseller or anything. She just happened to be on Ticketmaster at the right time when they went on sale, which has not worked out for us 98% of the time in our life when we want to see a show. But somehow we just got the tickets right off Ticketmaster on that one.
Neil had to give a kidney. It was weird.
$500 for tickets.
They weren't that crazy because I never pay that money for a show. I think we made $150 maybe.
Wow.
Okay, because we won.
It wasn't.
So it didn't cost me anything, so therefore I could cry. If I had paid $1,000 for a ticket, then maybe I wouldn't have.
Are you kidding me? I paid I'm just listening to the story. I'm going to start crying. If I had to pay $1,000 to see that show, I would have started bawling.
You know, it's funny. I got mad one time. My wife won tickets to see Coldplay, and she was out of town, so I went with Andy Hendrickson. And I found out afterwards, what the tickets were selling for and what I could have made if I just didn't go to this concert, and I was furious.
All right, let's before we have to wrap up this segment, how's your pandemic going? Has it been a good one, safe one, anything?
Yes,
Yep.
It's been good. It's been safe. My son's been home the whole time, which the upside is we've had a blast. You know, I was telling him once that his grandkids are going to ask him about this.
Yeah.
And he's going to say, I had the greatest time of my life.
How old is he now?
He's 7.
Yep.
So all through the spring and summer, Little League was canceled, but they left the field open.
Oh, man.
So he and I went over to the field and threw the ball around and batted and practiced, and we built Legos and played video games, and we have had an unbelievably great time. The other side of that is my productivity has gone to less than zero. It's just absolutely nothing gets done in my life.
I'll tell you what, you'll look back, you'll never remember that part, I think.
I will never remember that part.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Are you going to get the vaccine?
Dude, I'm already scheduled for it.
Really?
I don't know if you... Yeah, they decided that comedians are essential workers, so I'm...
You're lying.
No.
Come on.
I'm lying about that part.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I've also spent... I have a friend that works at a private school on the east side, and a few months ago, she asked me to, because I used to be a teacher, And I'd done like a trivia night with my college friends, and I was texting her, and she's like, "How's it going?" And I was like, I'm tired of not working," which I meant I was tired of not being a comedian. I didn't phrase it that way. And she goes, "Perfect, I have a job for you." And this private school, the kids are in person learning, but they have some teachers that have to teach remotely. So I am, the technical term for it is a proctor, what it basically means is I'm the grown-up in the room. So I come in, I make sure the kids get on their Zoom meeting with their teacher, and then I do what I want for 50 minutes.
Okay. And that qualifies you to get the vaccine?
Yes, because now, just as of Monday, teachers and education workers were open up to the vaccine.
Son of a! I'm telling you what, I'm still
How
in the.
about that?
I'm gonna be in the comedian pool forever. Every time I pass these homeless people on my corner, I'm like, they are gonna get that vaccine before I get the vaccine.
For sure.
For sure, because they're higher risk. Yeah. But I'm hoping somehow Leslie, if we do season 2 supermarket sweep, will somehow weasel us all to get a vaccine before.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know, but that's my only hope. Other than that, or my age now being ridiculously high, they're gonna, now it's everybody's.
Soon qualify.
I soon qualify. It's 65 or over now, right, Neil, in New York City?
Yeah.
I'm like, that is dangerously close to me getting into this. I mean, the next wave is another 10. It's bad.
Why don't I roll you into one of those senior centers when they're getting like the day with the vaccines?
I think that's a good idea. I mean,
hang out in the corner and act like no one will know who you are. They won't know anybody, so it'll work.
I think so.
Grab a cane, walk a little hunched over.
In other news, real quick, we're recording this the day after the impeachment. The president got impeached twice. Well deserved. Great job, Donald Trump. And the Steelers lost this past week. And knocked them out of the playoffs and during Zoom trivia, which we're about to talk about. And Neil has been miserable probably for 3 days being stuck in the bunker in Pennsylvania. Neil, real quick, give me 30 seconds, literally 30 seconds, Neil. What's the feeling in Pitt, wherever you are? Are they Pittsburgh fans? Are they all miserable? Or are they Philly fans and they fired their coach? Or are they miserable? Is it just all misery out there sports-wise?
Yeah, I mean, in the area I'm in, it's a double whammy. Trump got crushed, and then this whole thing went really terrible, and then the Steelers lost. It's depressing right now.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Good times out there. All right, let's move on. Ha ha. All right. Second corner I want to do today is Zoom trivia. Let me explain this to people. I don't know if Tony invented this. We'll find out. But every month he has figured out a game on Zoom where all these comedians come together. It's got to be it could be 50 of them. It could be, what was the highest number you've ever had, Tony?
I think 55 was the biggest one.
55, and they're all on this one Zoom, and then he divides us into teams, and you can throw the people off of Zoom into their own little room so they can chat. So everybody comes to the middle. He asks a question. We go all to the little rooms. We discuss it like idiots. We yell at each other. We put it on a form that he's given everybody to mail back at the end of the round, and then he does 4 rounds of this. It takes an hour and a half, 2 hours. It is literally the most fun and the only way keeping me sane, and also seeing who's still alive, which is the most important part of the Zoom, and making sure it actually makes you feel like, oh my God, I did something with friends for one day out of the next 30. So we can't thank you enough. I know the comics really appreciate it. But how did you come up with this? Did you know the technology you could do this? Go ahead, tell everybody.
So I did not invent it. I wish I could take credit for it, but someone at my wife's company did it with them.
Wow.
And I saw them do it, and of course the first thing I thought is, I can do this with comedians. It's fine. And it was because I missed seeing everybody, and I just, you can't get a bunch of comedians together to just hang out on Zoom, because I mean, you're going to get 6 of them to say yes, and after 12 minutes, 5 of them will be gone. So I knew a game or something might get people interested. Right. And I started, I guess, back in April, and it kind of started small, and then people kind of heard about it, I guess, or I just bugged them enough, and they start coming around. But it kind of ended up being, we have about 30, maybe 25 or 30 that are pretty consistently there.
Yeah, I mean, if I can be there, I will. I think the one I missed, I was in L.A. I missed one or two. But
yeah, that's the only one you've missed.
Because the time is ridiculous. The time changes.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
But, okay, so my wife and I, this week, now this has grown to the point where one week Brian Regan shows up and everybody's like, oh my God, is that Brian Regan? Like, that's crazy. And then this week...
I love... What I love the most is people don't mute themselves when they say you can actually hear comedians going, is that Brian Regan?
Yep. And then Dennis Regan. And then this week you had Jeff Foxworthy. And I'm like, my wife... I was in the other room. See, Birdie, you start this at 9 and then Supermarket Sweep ended at 9. So 9 is a really good time for us. But Birdie's been going to sleep she falls asleep right before 9. So I'm a little late walking into the thing, but by the time everybody gets settled and kibitzes, I'm there, right? So... yeah. But I'm in the other room, and I get a text while she's falling asleep, and it's my wife going, oh, my God, Jeff Foxworthy is on Zoom Trivia, and she's freaking out, right? And I'm like, so what? They had Brian Regan, and now this is like this big debate, and then I call, Neil's like, oh, my God, Foxworthy, and I'm like, isn't Leslie bigger than all of that if she came on, Neil? I mean, why is everybody so Foxworthy? I mean, not that Jeff Foxworthy is not a big star, but I mean, so Brian Regan to me is like God,
Yeah, it's funny. I'm pretty sure John Fish, who has a very young baby, was not going to play. He was tired.
Yeah.
And Dan Shackey texted him and he said, hey, Foxworthy's on trivia. And so John's like, no, I got to play now.
Why? What do they think?
It almost reminded me. Did you ever hear the stories back in the Seattle grunge days where one of those bands would be playing somewhere, it was unannounced, and everyone would start, calling their friends, oh my God, Pearl Jam's at whatever basement, whatever. Right. And people would just start coming in. I felt like that's what happened with trivia the other night.
But it was so ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. Like, what do they think? You're gonna say something funny on the Zoom, and then Fox is gonna be like, who's that guy?
Right. I think it was just fun because he, to me, there was a time where he was just a massive comedy star, and that whole blue collar tour and everything, just it was insane.
I got a good blue collar comedy tour service. So when they're about to go on that tour, right? They're about to go on that tour. So that's got to be I'm gonna say it's about 2003-4. Okay.
Probably, yeah.
I'm at the Montreal Comedy Festival. I'm a new face, or I'm I think it's one of those. And and I was supposed to get he was represented by a guy named J.P. Williams for 100 years. And late Henley could help me with the story, but J.P. Williams ended up with another company called, believe it or not, Four Corners. It was a weird thing. I think it was Four Corners or Four Areas. I forget
that's funny.
Yeah, he was one. There was a guy in L.A., so because he was the South, and then this guy was the West, and then they were looking for. So the East Coast guy saw me in a club and was like, "I like this guy," right? And he starts talking to me. He wants to manage me, go to Montreal, but at the last second, I pulled the plug. But I got to meet one of the L.A. guy, and I struck up a good conversation with the L.A. guy. So long story short, we end up in Montreal together, and they have a master show. And who's on the master show? But Bill Engvall. Right, and Ron White. So it's 2 out of the 4, right? So it's going to be Foxworthy, and I had already everybody had heard about this tour coming out, whatever. And so Ron White comes out, and I've never heard of him before, and he comes out and absolutely just. I was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. The whole thing, drink in his hand, you can't tell. I mean, it was that master show is a really tough show up there. The way it's laid out, it's a really weird, tough show. And he just owned the room with those stories and, tater salad, this whole thing. It was just, you could just tell this guy was on his way. And then Engvall comes out and he was closing the thing. Ron White had a cake spot too, right in the middle. And Engvall comes out and closes the thing, and he eats it like nothing I've ever seen. These comics are just better than him, And but he's a big star. Bill Engvall was a known to do back then, I knew of all the guys on the show, I knew who Jeff Foxworthy was, but I was like, oh, he's hosting, whatever. And then Engvall was going to end up going first, and eventually Ron White was going to go last, and I forget who was in the middle. If you say it, I know it. But anyways.
Was it Cable Guy or?
Oh, yeah, Larry the Cable Guy. Yeah. And I met him, too. I had lunch with him up there as that thing. And, he's like, hi, I'm Dan. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I'm with the... Hi, I'm Dan. I'm like, wait, you don't have an accent? You're not? And it turns out, no. He's like just some guy from Nebraska. Hi, I'm Dan Whitney. Nice to meet you. Like, my head blew off my body. Like, you got to be kidding me, right? So I end up seeing Cable Guy crushes. That guy, he crushes. Ron White crushes. And then I see Engvall. So I saunter. Engvall's vomiting, and I saunter over to like the West Coast guy in this Four Corners thing, and I'm like, I lean over and I go. Meanwhile, they kind of passed. They didn't pass on me. I passed on them, but we would joke that I didn't need any representation. I'm like, what? I just lean over as he's bombing into this guy's ear, and I'm like, wow, you represent this guy? He's amazing. You guys are gonna murder, right? And this guy, I'll never forget it. He turns to me and he goes, in 4 months, it's not gonna matter. Right? That's all he says. I'm like, and sure enough, they went on tour to the South and just, that was it. Everything was like, the Blue Collar Comedy Tour was like the biggest thing in the world for a year, Yeah. And this guy just put me right back in my place, but I busted his balls about that set. I was like, my career might be over after this festival, but that guy, and he was laughing because he knew he had just had all the cards. Oh, it was brutal. Yeah. All right, let me talk about
I was going to tell a quick Engvall story. I saw him there's a Las Vegas comedy festival in time, and they were trying to launch this like Blue Collar, the Next Generation, right? Which McKinney.
Yeah, McKinney. Yes, he was.
Yep. And so I went to see him on that show, and John Caparulo was on there.
And he was great. Yep.
Yep. And Caparulo murders.
Yeah, he's killer.
It was crazy.
Yep.
I watched that, and it's one of those, when you're a comedian and you're watching a comedian murder that hard, you're like, I don't even know if I'm in the right business.
Yeah, he murdered.
I can't even imagine doing this.
Yep.
But Engvall was hosting the thing, and he had to do like maybe 12 to 15 at the beginning of the show, and because they were doing it for television, and I could, from where I was sitting, I could see the countdown clock. And that dude nailed 000 at the end of a joke, like NASA hasn't landed a spaceship with the accuracy that guy hit 0. I couldn't even believe it, and I think it even surprised him too, because they went to commercial, and he like said to the crew, he's like, "Do you see how close I got that?" I was like, that was pretty impressive.
You know what? I did that this is the saddest thing, but I did that exact thing last year at the Comedy Cellar, New Year's Eve. I'm the guy who's got to be on stage at the Underground New Year's Eve, right? And Liz goes, I'm going to light you like 3 minutes before. You got to get off 1 minute before. You have 2 minutes, right? So now I'm like, I see that light go on. I know exactly how I have it. And you could see her starting to sweat in the corner, and I know I got it. I landed it like, I wasn't as good as the one 000, but it was pretty good. I was like, so great. First of all, I hate that spot. It's just too late, Right. But because people start to get antsy, but they stuck right there. The joke landed perfect. I was like, bye. And then before they even sang the second of that Old Lang Syne, I was already on the train. Done.
Nice.
Yep. All right, let's go back to Zoom trivia really quick, because I want to cover this.
Yes.
It has one flaw, right?
Yes.
The honor system.
Comedians?
Yeah, comedians, but the honor system, the scoring, you can't. It is cheatable, right? And that's the whole point. Yes. You can't cheat. Right. And and it's the weirdest part. There might be a couple of cheaters. What do you think, Neil?
I mean, I hope not, but yeah, it seems like, I don't know. It seems like if you get everybody in the group, there's enough people that don't cheat in the group, but I don't know. It's pretty close. What do you think, Tony?
It's definitely a cheatable game. From my perspective, I can't even imagine. I can't fathom cheating at trivia with your friends. That to me is just like I literally. I cannot envision a scenario where that would even cross my mind.
Well,
like, let me Google this answer so that we can get an extra point.
Well,
like, that to me is
we're not playing for anything. That's the thing. It's just
right.
There's
no money.
If there was money or some sort of prestige, like if you're cheating and I thought you were an idiot before, I'm not going to go, he's an idiot savant. I'm just going to be like, you're a worse idiot. You know?
Yeah. And the funny thing, too, is basically nobody even knows who won because I give all the teams these silly, like, cereals I ate as a kid, team names.
Yeah.
So at the end, I say Captain Crunch won. Nobody knows who the hell was on Captain Crunch. The only thing is that team knows they won, and everyone else knows that they lost, and that's it. There's no honor. There's no bragging rights. It's nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
cheat at this game is.
You're not sending us trophies or anything. I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, there.
I mean,
no
I was
trophies.
Now, wait, I do think that there is an instinct for people. I do see everybody, even in our Zoom room, like when you can't get a question, you're so used to Googling it real quick, it drives people crazy. And then there is rumors of people like having the whatever app on the music thing, and so that identifies music. I think that fair, but I like cheating, but I'm like, why would I? What's the purpose of cheating? I'm with you. I'm like
cheating,
and I love cheating, but I'm like, why would I ever cheat in this fucking game? It's beyond belief that anybody would cheat, because I don't care if anybody. I don't know everybody that well, and it's like, would that get me anywhere to be smarter than anybody here? It's like it's bizarre, but. I do think someone on there is cheating, but I'm not sure.
Well, let me help you out, Neil. Let me try and like have the audience not hate Neil. Neil's not really a cheater. He's a corner cutter, if anything. Like if there's a quicker way to do something, I'm gonna go with that. He would never blatantly cheat somebody out of like money or anything, but he would definitely cut a corner. Like if you said use anything you want, Neil would have 900 apps that would do the work for him. But when it's funny when we don't know, like Neil had the one this week. You played like a Belinda Carlisle song, The Joke.
Yes.
And I was like, that voice sounds familiar, but I got nothing, right? And Neil comes on and somebody said Belinda Carlisle. Neil said, I have that song on my phone, right? And he could have very easily just looked at his phone for the song, but he's like, it's on my, and it drove me nuts. Of course, I'm screaming at him, how do you not know a song that's on your phone? Or at least who sang it? And then somebody said, okay, it's Belinda Carlisle. And then Neil goes, yes, that's it. Now, there you go. I mean, that's how you suss out an answer.
Right.
But, we ate it on the song title because Neil fucked us. He couldn't remember the joke title in the joke, but it's okay. But that's how you work it out as a team, and we're actually really good at that. Especially Justin is the worst player. We have Justin McKinney, and he is the worst trivia player. I don't think he's ever answered one question that none of us else got. Not one. But
I can't remember which one, but I thought you told me he did come through for you guys.
He came through for us because he actually American history or presidents, for some reason he knows a little bit. Like he has an idea of American history which we don't. We're more pop culture. But he will throw a nugget of information in that sparks our memory to be able to get an answer around him. But he's the answer that he instinctively wants with his vast information is wrong. But the nugget of information he gives me to be able to suss it out with the team is good. Yeah. So, and he'll then, of course, when we get it right, he takes full credit. So it makes perfect sense. So it's ridiculous.
Now, where do you come? Wait. So where do you come up with all this stuff? Are you stressing? Or are you like, oh God, I gotta. All these comics are going to be dogging me. I got to get these questions. Where are you coming up with all the questions?
Well, he's a music guy.
What's that?
You're a music guy, so that section.
Well, yeah, the music one's the fun one for me. I love doing trying to come up with a theme for the music and doing that one. That one's the easiest. I usually get it done first. And the rest of them, what's funny is it feels like it's getting harder to do it, but I know there's just vast amounts of trivia in the world. I can't have gone through all of it in 12 games of trivia.
Well,
so
if I
think it's just I'm putting more pressure on myself, especially like when I knew Foxworthy was going to be there. I'm like, I got to make this a good game. The question's got to be good.
Well, if I need to help you out, I will. And if I'm not going to be there that week, and you can play with these guys,
oh yeah, that would be great.
I have two more questions. Did you think when you started this that we would still be doing this in January?
No, I did not. I didn't know we'd do it more than twice.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and
I kind of hope I hope that it's something we can keep doing even after the pandemic, like once every 3 months or something.
Oh, that would be cool. Sunday's usually decent.
Possible?
Maybe.
I don't know if everyone will be up for it, and I think it'll be harder to get people together for it. But I would love. It's so much fun for me, and it's a group of people that I don't know that everyone sees each other all the time, but it's just I would love to keep doing it.
I think. Okay, two quick things, and then we got to move on. One is you've been doing it for corporates, right? You picked up a couple real gigs with this to make real money.
Yes,
that's incredible.
Because I hate virtual comedy so much. I think it's the worst thing that happened to stand up.
You're probably
despite
right.
the pandemic.
Yeah,
it's just like there's nothing about it that resembles comedy to me, and I've just avoided it at all costs. But you guys in the group kept telling me I should do it as a corporate event, and I was like, I don't know this. And then I don't know what made me cross over and go, okay, this is a good idea. So I put together a little reel, and then I end up doing a ton of them in December for like corporate, like holiday
that's good money.
And things. Yeah, and it's the dumbest, easiest money I've ever made.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's not dumb.
Because all I did,
yeah,
it's a different company every time. So I use the same, just set of questions. I'm a little robot sitting there running trivia.
So what? They loved it probably.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like every company I've done it for has had a blast.
Oh, I'm sure you have like Donna from accounting. You're hilarious. Probably some really fun stuff. And the last thing I want to say, and we're going to move on, is I wish Vic Henley were here. I would have him on my team in 2 seconds. First of all, I wouldn't need anybody else. You could get rid of Gina, Neil, Bethel, Justin, done. I mean, the music thing would be a slam dunk. I would be done with this in 4 seconds. I mean, every time we play and I get off, I go.
If we don't have Gina, then we would never win. You know that, right?
Okay. Neil will not give me any credit. Come on, Neil. All right, we're done.
Support for this podcast comes from Progressive. What would you do with an extra $800? Buy a plane ticket? Pay down your student loan? Treat yourself to those shoes you've been eyeing. With Progressive, you could find out. Drivers who switch and save an average of $796 on car insurance. Get your quote online at Progressive.com and see how much you could be saving. National average annual car insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2019.
Let's go to the third one. This is a very exciting third topic and taking a weird left turn for me. All right, here's what happened. I'm going to set this up. So I have an apartment in Israel forever. I inherited it from my dad, who inherited it. It's down the line, right? But we're never going there. My father at one point was going to go with my mother. She passed away. That's the story. We've had it. He collected rent when he was alive from this apartment and kind of lived off of it in his older years. And it was a nice piece of income. And he was always like, I want to give it to you. Don't sell it. Just take this income. But I split the income with my sister, and after it's all said and done, it's a nice little chunk for holiday presents every year, and it's great. But my sister's, even though I told him to sell it because there's going to be a lot of paperwork, the paperwork is crazy. You have to pay into the upkeep of the building. It's like it's all, you're owning another piece of property. So Suzanne
in a different country. In
a different country, and we don't know anything, in a dangerous country as well. Sometimes, it's not as dangerous as people think, but. There is no reason anymore to have it. I'm whatever years old, and I'm in my 50s, and I'm not going over there to live. Even though after this last 4 years may not be the worst idea ever. But anyway, we rent it out and we collect this money. But now it looks like we're going to sell it, and it looks like we're going to sell it this year. And now there's a chunk of money coming in. So now my thought was, I'm going to take that chunk of money and just put it in my mortgage here. I bought this so late that by the time I pay off my mortgage here, according to calculations, I will be 85 years old. Okay.
Right.
Literally, the bank, last one I'm going to pay, I'll be in my 80s, right? That's not going to happen because I'm going to make money. But if I pay this chunk of money off, there's a good chance I'd be like any normal person. You pay it off in your 60s. I could knock 20 years off of this possibly. So I'll just pay it right to the mortgage. And then peace of mind, in 10 years, if I paid it off and I own this place, I'd have peace of mind, drop my expenses, just pay the maintenance, and live like a person,
Yes.
But my financial advisor is like, no, give me the money. I take it. I invest it for you. It makes 13% a year. You're making even more money. And so it's working for you. And so you'll have doubled that money in 10 years, and then the tax liabilities left and blah 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 blah. But right now I'm suffering like a piece of all the money that comes in from all the resources goes right to rent and mortgage and maintenance and all the other New York City stuff. So I live like a pauper when I could just pay it off and every month. But it's just a mindset of having to invest this money. So here's the question. Okay. 2 questions. What would you do with the money? And second of all, how much money, and this is the key one, how much money do you need in your savings account or checking account would you need to feel like you're not poor? Like you could buy stuff, you can breathe. Like even if you spend all the money for the month, you could still have something. Like how much money do you need in that account? So first of all, what would you do? Would you invest the money, keep investing it and just pay and live like a pauper, or pay it off and get down to the the minimum, forget it, I'm doing it for now and feel better about life?
All right, I have an answer for you.
Go.
I'm with you, Lenny. I pay it off.
Yeah.
I hate debt, but and I know if you just look the numbers to numbers, one is a smarter decision in the end. But what it doesn't take into account is the mental baggage.
Exactly.
Of that, and that is worth getting rid of. That is worth way more than the extra 2% that you're going to have when it's all said and done.
That's what I try to explain to my financial advisor. So I actually ask him this one. I go, what happens if I hit the lottery and they give me a check for $50 million? Would you let me take the last $1 million? You take 49, I take $1 million and pay off whatever I need to pay off in life. And he's like, no. And I'm like, and that in and of itself just sums it all up. He doesn't give a shit about debt. He lives in a financial bubble of a world. Right. He realizes what that $1 million would make, but no skin off a financial guy's ass. Peace of mind. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit.
Right. He doesn't have a line in his spreadsheet that says Lenny's stress in it.
Yeah. Like you could eliminate all my stress with that $1 million out of the 50. And he's like, no. Yeah. No. You're not making any money. Neil, go ahead.
Look, if you got that kind of money, my first thing is you got to take a chunk of it and buy shit.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is why you don't. Why?
You just have to take a chunk of it, and either you go on like a European vacation, or you buy a car, or you just like take a bunch of friends. Like everybody on the quiz thing gets like a bunch of something.
I feel like you're not taking my question seriously. You're taking into a personal agenda for this money coming in. That's what it sounds.
I had to throw that out there that we would all get something.
What do you want, Neil? What do you want, Neil?
I don't know. Maybe we're talking about water balloons too.
Okay.
Maybe a little movie that you can really make money on a movie.
Yeah, you can.
So I would spend money on something. I would take a chunk and spend money. You'd be crazy, Mark.
All right, here's the thing.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that didn't even occur to me.
But I am spending.
Not at all.
I am spending money on something that's called peace of mind. So here's here's the B part of this question. So Neil, I know your savings account is probably like 17 cents, but if you say, let's go to Tony, who probably has a savings account. Is there a number in your savings account that you will be able to just like feel comfortable with? And here's mine. I'm gonna start with this. For me to feel like the world's not gonna end with any one thing that happens, I would like 50 grand in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me to feel like I can do anything, and you know what? Every other penny I will give to this financial advisor, I need like $103,000 because I'll play with the 3,000, but I just want to see that 100 every day when I log on. I want to see that number. And it's funny because I was talking to my friend Rob, and he owns these two businesses, and his mom, they had a whole thing of putting her into a home because she's really old, and they had to like take her money and put it into one of those accounts so it would grow and then it would pay off every month what she had to live in that home because it's expensive. And it depressed the shit out of her because once they moved the money, her actual account that she looked at, it didn't say that big number anymore, and she got really depressed because people I just want to see the number will give me again peace of mind. So my numbers, Neil, 103,000. I need to really feel comfortable and cocky with myself. But if I could even get it to 50 at this point, it would be like, okay, I'm not gonna have a heart attack every 2 seconds when I look at my bank account, and it's nowhere near that now. So because it's all invested in this stupid property. So, okay, Neil, how much money's got to be in your savings account for you not to feel like garbage?
Tony, you want to go first?
No, you go first, Neil. I'll give Tony the second one because I know your answer's going to be stupid, and I want to hear the real one from Tony.
My first instinct is I would tell you, who was your friend, Rob?
Yeah.
You said?
Yeah.
I would tell him that he should just make up a fake webpage so his mom would look at the same number. She won't know. It's like a fake 100,000. Anyway, so for me, I would say I would keep like, for me to look every morning and feel good about myself, I would say like 25,000 would make me so happy because then that means at any time I could go do anything I want.
Okay, 25,000.
I could go on vacation. I could buy shit. I could have an expensive dinner. All that stuff. So I'd say 25,000. And I think I could blow through that in about a month and a half.
But the whole point is not to blow through it. The whole point is to just feel comfortable. That's the thing. You won't.
No, but that's how I look. No, but that's how I look at it. Is it enough that I could go blow through it and have a great month and a half of life?
Oh, I see.
I think 25,000.
I get it. Okay. All right. Let's go to an adult. Let's talk to an adult.
I don't know that there's two people on this earth more opposite than Neil and I.
Yeah, go ahead. How much?
I'm obviously way closer to your thinking, Lenny.
Of course.
I think of it in terms of like emergency fund.
Right.
Like,
of course.
Everything goes to shit.
Right.
Can I pay my bills? I like 6 months in the bank.
Yep.
But this last year has taught me that that's maybe not enough, and maybe a year in the bank of like literally nobody working. My wife out of work, me out of work. Can we live for a year on the savings?
Well, they were saying, like, I just read this, like 46% of the people during the pandemic went through their entire nest egg that they were saving in case of this, you know? So almost half the country went through it. And I mean, I may never even, and with this pandemic, I may never have a number in there like 103,000. That's gone. It's a pipe dream at this point. But I'm never going to feel comfortable.
So your place in Israel, you've never said to yourself, "I want to sell this so I can buy a condo in Miami," or "I want to sell this because then I'm going to go on vacation around the world. I'm going to sell this because I'm going to take a bunch of money and I'm going to eat out every night." Like, that's never crossed your mind?
No, nothing's going to cross my mind. I swear to God, Neil, nothing's going to cross my mind on something like that until I pay off this apartment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, once I pay off this apartment, I think I'm down to the maintenance, which is still, my wife's still worried. Even if tomorrow I paid off this apartment and I died, she'd be like, how am I going to pay the maintenance? I'm like, you work. What are you talking about? You're going to pay the maintenance, you know? So, and then you'll be able to live off apparently all the money that I've been siphoning into that goddamn fake, this stupid money account that it's got IRA and all the retirement money. Hold on. All the retirement money that's in there and all that stuff to me is like a fake. It's some kind of weird pipe dream bank account that I'm never going to touch. It's just this weird number crunching that eventually just gets passed on from generation to generation, trying to make Birdie's life better than my life, or my dad's life trying to make better for my life, and then her peace of mind. But for some reason, that money doesn't give me peace of mind. It just gives me more agita in some ways, because I can't touch it. So Neil, that money that like when you say take a trip around the world, I'll be like, I'll call the financial advisor. They go, well, if you don't touch it until you're 65, you can get it. And then they guilt you into keeping it there. It's brutal.
All right, let me ask you guys a different question then. If you get if I gave you both $500,000, or let's say you both got $500,000 tomorrow,
right?
And you had to buy something big, what would it be?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm buying this apartment. I'm buying an apartment with it.
That's exactly what I would do. Is the first thing I think is
buy something.
One thing, I would buy that new podcast equipment I was talking about, so I don't have like 900 wires there, but it's not going to be extravagant. Or I would say, Neil, how would you like to upgrade? The biggest thing I would buy is, Neil, how would you like to upgrade that car? But I get to drive it whenever I want, and you keep it in whatever you pay for the garage, I'll pay for the car. That's the biggest deal I could even think of, Neil, to even pull off.
I can't park a Range Rover in that parking.
It's not a Range Rover. It's like an SUV. I need someone with a trunk.
Tony, what do you buy? You got to buy something big. What's your big purchase out there that's in your mind?
That's and not like a dwelling. Man, I don't know if I'm just such a simple.
I'm with you. There's nothing left. No. Here's what I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, Tony. You've got everything you need. That's all it is.
That's exactly what it is. I'm so happy in life. I have a roof over my head and we pay our bills, and I'm so I have everything I need in life.
Yeah. There's nothing left when you get to our age. You bought all that stupid shit, Neil. You bought all the stuff that you throw away dumb shit on.
Well, what about okay, I'm gonna give that restaurant $50,000. I'm gonna take all my friends and have a big party. Does that come to mind? No.
No. See, Neil is like, you give him a chunk of money, he's already got it going. He's got new car, Vegas, trip around the world, vacations. He's literally like a winner on The Price is Right. Like, that's the way he wants to live at all times, And then in a month, Tony, it's all gone. It's all gone. But he's had a great month and this great experience. And I totally get that. There are people out there like live in debt, like screw you. Vinny Brand used to do a whole thing, like just live in debt, no problem, pass it down the road. When I'm dead, the credit card company be like, I can't get it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I
had heard something a long time ago. It's like people treat unexpected money as if it's not money.
What do they treat it? I don't get it. Like they treat it as they just throw it away.
Like someone gives you you inherit $10,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, I wasn't planning on getting this, so I could blow it on something stupid. No, it's still $10,000. Do something smart with it.
Yeah, I do. That's the problem. Here's my problem. I got to say, I'm going to give this to Neil, and I'm ending this segment. I wish that I was a little more like Neil. I wish I was a little bit more of a moron with money. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I went out, I blew it on a car, but I live in Manhattan. What am I going to do with this car? I don't know.
That's the two greatest sentences in a row that I've ever heard in my life. I wish I was more like Neil. I wish I was more of a moron.
There you go. Let's move on. Right. He's my moron, though. I get it. He's living life.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you to the Bruce Springsteen concert, Lenny.
There you go. Like, I'll get Neil, perfect example, Tony, real quick. So Neil, we did Supermarket Sweep, and Neil keeps trying to take us out to this crazy fancy restaurant where you drive. And Gina wants to go. It's this farm to table restaurant up north a little bit, and it's like, what's it like, $300 a person, Neil, or something like that? This,
it's not. It was a little much even for me, but I figured, what the hell?
Yeah, he's exactly what the hell. What the hell? You got a house that you need to pay for out there. You got there's expenses up the yin yang. Like it's during a pandemic. Like, oh my God, Tony. Like, hey Neil, buy me a cookie. We're even. Like Jesus, I'm gonna shit it. I asked one girlfriend I had, like, what do you want for your birthday? You a pair of shoes or food? And we used to do this in the show. I'm like, do you want to shit it or wear it? And I'm like, you should want to wear it, because at least you'll wear it for a year or 2 years. One meal, it was great. I don't remember that restaurant in 2 years to save my life, or whatever I ate.
The other thing, too, I'm the type of person, like, I would feel so guilty eating. Yeah. Because I'm like, maybe this is great, but there's not a chance in the world I'm getting more than $25 of enjoyment out of this.
Yeah, also for $300 a person, I could buy all the new podcast equipment. You know what I mean? Like, buy me the new podcast equipment. Right. I don't need a meal. Right. I'll have pizza for $5. All right, here we go.
I will be honest with you, Neil. I do like gear, like, and especially audio gear and stuff like that. I do look at all that stuff, and I would probably buy a few of those things.
Yeah, but you wouldn't total more than $2,000, I bet.
No,
exactly. All right, here we go. Let's do the.
Would you go to a restaurant that's like $300? It's like one of those farm tables. They come out and tell you about the food.
No.
Like,
not. I wouldn't even consider it.
No.
$1 slice of pizza, man.
Yeah,
it's so good.
There you go. All right, Neil, hang up. I'll call you back. We'll do the quiz.
All right.
All right, bye. All right, it's me and you, Tony, I think. Yep, there we go. All right, so this is Neil. The last time Neil was on the show, it was a quiz about Seinfeld, right? And you kind of trounced him.
I believe so.
So as the quiz master, you were very benevolent and gave Neil his choice of what the topic would be. And he decided also sitcoms, general sitcoms. And this is very easy. We try and make them real easy now, and they get a little harder, because there's a lot of sitcoms over the years, and I think I'm going to say every one of these sitcoms, I think, but one is after 1965, 65 or later. Okay.
All right.
And they're very famous, so you can't go wrong. Whether you saw them or not, that's another thing. And
I'll at least think I should have known it.
Yes. So I'm going to describe the show. I took these straight from Wikipedia. I'm going to describe the show, and you just tell me the show. So if I said life as vice president or nothing like she expected, but everything she was warned about, the answer would be Veep. So
Veep.
There you go. Okay. So here we go. 15 of these.
All right.
Whoever gets the most, Neil's in the soundproof booth, a.k.a. doing nothing. So here we go. Okay, a former relief pitcher owns and runs a cozy bar in Boston.
Cheers.
Boom. There we go. Mensa smart best friends and physicist roommates have trouble in basic social situations, especially ones involving women.
Big Bang Theory.
Boom. 2 for 2. Best friends, roommates, and polar opposites work together at a brewery in Milwaukee.
Laverne and Shirley.
Nice. A successful sports writer and family man who deals with a brother and parents who happen to live across the street.
Read that one again.
A successful sports writer and family man deals with a brother and his parents who happen to live across the street.
Is that Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yes. Very good.
Okay. That's funny. I didn't remember the sports writer part.
Well, an accidentally heroic and chronically inept captain is given command of Fort Courage, Kansas, a dumping ground for the Army's least useful men at the end of the Civil War.
Oh.
This is a hard one. You got to go back for this one. That's my hint.
End of the Civil War.
One of my favorites. You can come back to it if you want.
Yeah, let me pause that one and come back to it.
All right. The family at 1313 Mockingbird Lane is a little different. Dad looks like Frankenstein's monster, and Mom and her dad are vampires. And the
Addams
son...
Family?
I'm sorry, Tony. Yeah. That would be the Munsters. All right, here we go. A husband and wife relocate from New York City into a small town in Vermont where they run the historic Stafford Inn.
Newhart.
Yes. A junk dealer runs roughshod over his son and partner.
Sanford and Son.
Yep. At the Eastland School for Young Women, house mother is the caretaker and confidant for a special group of girls.
Facts of Life.
Yes. Two brothers, Joe and Brian, run a one-plane commuter service from a small Nantucket airport.
Wings.
Nice. Okay. Dre Johnson has it all. A great job, beautiful wife, 4 kids, and a big home and classy neighborhood. But as a black man, he begins to question whether all his success has brought too much cultural assimilation for his family.
Is that Blackish?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Number 12, a neurotic man in his late 20s who has convinced himself that he's destined to be one of the best rappers of all time.
I don't know that one.
All right. We'll come back and we'll see if Neil can come up with that one.
Yeah.
A perpetually flustered but eternally optimistic New York City bus driver living with his wife in a small Brooklyn apartment.
King of Queens?
Oh, so close. Nope.
No. What did you say? Brooklyn apartment?
Yep.
Oh, man.
The High Commander.
King of Queens.
Yeah.
What a dummy I am.
It's all right. Now you know how we feel when you give us the trivia question.
Yeah.
The High Commander of an alien expedition lands on Earth, what he considers to be the least important planet.
Oh. It's not Mork and Mindy, is it?
No. One of my favorites, though, when we get to it. The hilarious antics of staffers at WNYX, the fictional number 2 radio station serving New York. The characters are eccentric, witty, and sarcasm is the name of the game as they surprise one another with back-and-forth banter. This is hard, but it's a good show.
I can't ask if it's new or old.
If it's what?
Like, is it like a recent or is it an old one?
Well, I think we're past 1980. I'll give you that.
All right. Say it one more time.
The hilarious antics of staffers at WNYX, the fictional number 2 radio station serving New York. The characters are eccentric, witty, and sarcasm is the name of the game as they surprise one another with back-and-forth banter.
All right. I know this, but I got to think of it. News Radio.
Yes. Very
There
good.
it is.
Okay, number 5. An accidentally heroic and chronically inept captain. I'm going to give you a hint now. Wilton Palmater is the captain. Is given command of Fort Courage, Kansas, a dumping ground for the Army's least useful men at the end of the Civil War.
I don't know. My first instinct was Gomer Pyle, but I know that's
Close.
later.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 10 out of 15. Pretty good.
That's not bad. I'll take that.
10 out of 15. All right, let's call up my favorite moron. I don't know. He surprises you sometimes, but I like it when it's 10 out of 15 because it gives him an actual chance.
Yeah.
And then it's up to him not to screw it up, but he does. Hold on. We'll get him.
Okay, do I got a chance?
All right, hold on. Let me get everybody back in. You there, Tony?
Hello?
Yep. You're there, Tony?
Yep.
All right, we got everybody. All right, you got a chance. Tony got 10 out of 15.
Okay.
So you got a chance. You got
All right.
All right, you wanted a sitcom quiz? You got a sitcom quiz, Neil. So this is I went to Wikipedia and paraphrased a little bit, took some of their descriptions. I'm going to describe the show. All you got to do is tell me the sitcom name. So if I said Life as Vice President is nothing like she expected, but everything she was warned about, you'd say?
Does this count or is
No.
this just the practice?
Practice.
I don't know. What? Say that again?
Life as Vice President is nothing like she expected, but everything she was warned about. You would say
Veep?
Veep, see? All right, it's easy. This is going to be cake. 10 out of 15.
So I got one. That counts?
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. I'm sorry.
I heard that you could count that. There was an option there.
Sorry, sweetie. You can't count. All right, here we go. Number 1.
Let's go.
Neil for all the marbles. A former relief pitcher owns and runs a cozy bar in Boston.
Cheers.
Nice. All right. All you got to do is get another 11. Mensa Smart, or maybe 10. Mensa Smart best friends and physicist roommates have trouble in basic social situations, especially ones involving women.
Big Bang Theory.
Nice. 2 for 2. Best friends, roommates. Oh, let me give you. I can give you a hint too, Neil. Every sitcom is 1965 or later, except for one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Best friends, roommates, and polar opposites work together at a brewery in Milwaukee.
Laverne and Shirley.
3 for 3.
There you go.
But Tony also got 3 for 3. All right. How about this one? A successful sports writer and family man who deals with a brother and his parents who happen to live across the street.
That's a tough. Wait, say it again.
A successful sports writer and family man who deals with a brother and parents who happen to live across the street.
Oh, Ray Romano.
Wait, what's the name of the show?
Everybody loves Ray.
There you go. 4 for 4. All right. It's a tie ball game. All right. An accidentally heroic and chronically inept captain is given command of Fort Courage, Kansas, a dumping ground for the Army's least useful men at the end of the Civil War.
Wait, say that one again? That's a tough one. Wait.
An accidentally heroic and chronically inept captain is given command of Fort Courage, Kansas, a dumping ground for the Army's least useful men at the end of the Civil War.
Gomer Pyle?
Oh, that's what Tony gets too. Sorry. F Troop. F Troop.
I knew it sounded a little too current. Oh, well. All right.
All right. The family at 1313 Mockingbird Lane is a little different. The dad looks like Frankenstein's monster. The mom and her dad are vampires, and the son is a werewolf.
Addams Family.
Jesus Christ. The same mistake he made.
That's exactly what I said.
The Monsters.
Oh, yeah, I thought because you said monster. I was like, you wouldn't say monster in the question.
1313. Well, what do you mean? Monster, Munster. It's 2 different words.
Yeah, but I thought you wouldn't give away the question, so that's why I guess Addams Family.
1313 Mockingbird Lane is the Monsters. All right, here we go. You're still tied. A husband and wife relocate from New York City to a small town in Vermont where they run the historic Stafford Inn.
Damn it. Wait, what's the first part again? Say the first part.
A husband and wife relocate from New York City to a small town in Vermont where they run the historic Stafford Inn.
Shit. I got 3 guesses on this, and they're all wrong.
Well, I'll take the least wrong one.
I'll go with the 2 wrong guesses, which is Green Acres and then
You want to try?
Petticoat Junction, and then so it's got to be none of those. It's Stafford. Fuck, I don't know. I don't know that one. I'll just go with Green Acres. I know it's wrong.
And the collapse begins. A New Heart.
No, I wouldn't have got it.
What?
Did you get that, Tony?
That's a classic.
Yeah,
you got that.
And that's one of the greatest endings to a sitcom in all time.
Yes, maybe the greatest. Okay, here we go. Next one, number 8. A junk dealer runs roughshod over his son and partner.
Sanford and Son.
There you go. All right. Neely's still down 1. At the Eastland School for Young Women, house mother is the caretaker and confidant of a special group of girls.
Facts of Life.
Nice. That one he knows. He knows the facts of life, but doesn't know the monster. 2 brothers.
Do I get bonus if I get them quicker?
No. But you do help the show since we're over. 2 brothers, Joe and Brian, run a 1-plane commuter service from a small Nantucket airport.
Wings.
Nice. Everybody
I'm
remembers
rolling
Wings.
now. I'm rolling.
You're still down 1. All right. Dre Johnson has it all. A great job, beautiful wife, 4 kids, and a big home in a classy neighborhood. But as a black man, he begins to question whether all his success has brought too much cultural assimilation for his family.
Oh, shit. Say the first part again?
Dre Johnson has it all. A great job, beautiful wife, 4 kids, and a big home in a classy neighborhood. But as a black man, he begins to question whether all his success has brought too much cultural assimilation for his family.
Damn it. I don't know even where to is it super popular, this one?
No comment.
Was it a big hit? What kind of job does he do?
Dude, you know this show. All we do is talk about it.
This show? We talk about this show?
All the time.
Can't think of anything right now.
No, you're done.
Shit.
It's called Blackish, Neil. Blackish.
Oh, shit. I got stuck with Martin, thinking Martin, and I thought you'd do Night Court and Martin. I can't get...
They're bringing back Night Court, by the way.
What?
They're bringing back Night Court.
Get out of here.
I swear to God, they're bringing back Night Court, even without Harry Anderson, which is ridiculous. And then it's Bernadette from The Big Bang Theory. What's her name? But she's his daughter or something like that. So I don't know if she's the judge. I don't know if she's in it. I don't know what the deal is, but it's coming back. Yep. A neurotic man in his late 20s has convinced himself he's destined to be one of the best rappers of all time.
The Little Dicky, that sitcom, that show.
What's the name of it?
Dave?
Yes, Neil Potter. Woo! There you go.
What is it?
It's called Dave. It's on now. It's on FX now. That's Neil's one shot again. All right, Neil, that's a good one. You're still down by one, I think. Yep, you're down by one. You have 3 questions left, Neil. Down by one.
Yeah, I got 10.
Yeah, you have an actual chance. Don't choke. A perpetually flustered but eternally optimistic New York City bus driver living with his wife in a small Brooklyn apartment.
The Honeymooner.
Yes. There it is. They are tied. They are tied.
Man.
Tony choked on that. Said King of Queens.
I did. I said King of Queens
Never
right after he said Brooklyn.
All right, Neil.
Neil.
All right, Neil. You have...
I don't know. I was waiting for some of these older ones. I knew Lenny would go old at the end.
Here we go, Neil. There's 2 left. All you got to do is get any one of the 2.
I was waiting for the Odd Couple. That's what I've been waiting for.
Okay. You got 1 or 2. You get one of these last 2, you win. If you get none of them, we go to the tiebreaker. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Tony's in sweating. All right.
I am. It's too close.
The High Commander... Oh, actually, Tony, wait. Let me see what Neil has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 9. Neil has 9 because of the Dave and the Honeymooners. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
The High Commander of an alien expedition lands on Earth, what he considers to be the least important planet.
Oh, shit. I know that one. I just can't think of the name. Oh, shit. John Lithgow's in it, right? It's
This is for the tie, Neil.
Oh, shit.
2 for the win.
I can't think of the name of it. It's, wait, just give me a second.
Don't cheat. We just spoke about this.
No, I'm not cheating. I wouldn't do that. It's like...
You just said you're a cheater. We heard you say it.
Oh, shit, I'm not going to be able to think of it.
All right, here we go.
It's going to take me
5 seconds.
All right, I'm not going to be able to think of it.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
Third Rock from the Sun.
I couldn't think of it.
All right,
You
Neil.
know, it's funny. I did not get it, but as soon as you said Lithgow, I was like, that's what it is. I can't believe I blew it.
All right, after double checking my scores here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You are tied. So Neil, you get this, you win. You don't get this, you tie. We go to the Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are tied. You get this, you win, Neil. The hilarious antics of staffers at WNYX, the fictional number 2 radio station serving New York. The characters are eccentric and witty, and sarcasm is the name of the game as they surprise one another with back and forth banter.
Well, my first instinct when I hear, of course, is the famous WKRP in Cincinnati, but it's in Cincinnati, so it can't be that.
That was my instinct, too.
It's also, I also say the name is WNYX. I mean...
News Radio.
I'm sorry, what?
News Radio.
Neil Potter has won finally. News Radio is correct. Oh,
Nice.
that was nice.
This is a big moment in my life.
That is a big moment. He knocked off the trivia master at trivia, and Tony will hate himself forever for saying King of Queens.
I know. Oh, that was so much
from
fun.
Brooklyn. Oh, so sad. All right. The way we end the show, I'm sorry, Tony, but thanks for playing. But it really doesn't matter because you don't win anything. Nobody wins anything. You're just going to.
That was so much fun.
The problem is.
I win self-respect and dignity.
There you go. That's what it is. Some people want peace of mind. Some people want self-respect and dignity. Now, here's the thing. It sets up it's the showdown of one win each for the next time Tony comes on.
Oh, yeah.
You guys,
nice.
and we can take a consensus of what you guys want for the next one, but we'll get there at some point, hopefully when the pandemic's over, and we'll have it in person, as always. Okay, The way we end the show is one good thing or one bad thing of the week. Let me start. I'm going to go with the polar vortex. This week I heard that the polar vortex is coming. Oh, my God. So this week, right now, it's like 48 degrees outside. It's like one of the best days in January you'll ever see. And I'm going for a walk right after I hang up. It's going to be a nice day. And then starting Sunday and into Martin Luther King Day for like the next 15 days, it is going to be brutal outside. Bundle up, kids. Winter is getting long. Gina and I both agree that January is taking a very long time. Neil? Neil, go ahead. One good thing, one bad thing of the week.
Well, I mean, my bad thing is definitely the Steelers. I put a lot of time into that this year because I had a lot put into that.
Yep.
And I'm in Pennsylvania, so I really, really went all in on the Steelers, and I was like reading the blogs, and I've been really like into it. And my brother has Adrian, and he's really into it, so I was like so excited he got to see the Steelers. So that was a crusher, and it reminded me not to put too much in the sport.
Oh, there you go. So your nephew was crying too. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, it was really. We got the terrible pals out. It was just it was a calamity. It was so embarrassing, so bad. And then my good thing is, and I don't know if this could be attached. Most people say it's attached. Is I've always envisioned myself. I watch it like when they're in Ocean's 11. They always have the whiskey glass, and I finally drank whiskey, and it wasn't great. I'm not a whiskey drinker. I'm not a big drinker, but I drank whiskey. And so that was my good thing.
What kind of whiskey? What kind of whiskey, so people know how much you spent on this bottle? And I know since you're such a high roller, it's probably a high-end whiskey. So
believe it or not, with a low-end bottle of whiskey from Ireland. I visited Ireland, so I went with a Jameson from Ireland.
All right.
And it wasn't bad. And I only did it one night, but I had like only a glass. But it felt good, like swirling the glass around.
Mm-hmm.
And, like it just felt good.
I think
there's something very classy about that.
I think what I'm hearing is the pandemic. What I'm hearing, Neil, is the pandemic has forced you into a bunker in Pennsylvania, and there's nothing to do it but get soused. That's what I heard. But you drink, Tony?
I've reached new lows. Is what I'm saying.
Go ahead, Tony. You first of all answer Neil's question. You drink whiskey?
I do. I started. It was funny. It was years ago. I was up in Canada, and it was after I'd started wearing a suit to perform.
Yep.
And I'd gotten like a gin and tonic from the bartender. I'm like, does this look like kind of Rat Pack? He goes, not with a gin and tonic. I was like, I should start drinking a darker liquor like a man. So I landed on bourbon as an homage to my Southern roots. I like bourbon.
I see you with one of those big glasses. Hold on, Neil. I see one of those big glasses where you put with the big top to it, and you have it between your fingers, and you're telling stories. Like after dinner. What is that called? Like a Irish Bailey's or something. Bailey's Irish cream.
Oh yeah, no, I do like I still can't do bourbon straight. But I'll do like an old fashioned. I like that.
All right, Tony. Sorry, Neil. Did you have a question for him? Because we got to end this show. We're way over.
Yeah, when you're alone at night and you're trying to unwind, and you pour yourself a glass of bourbon and then you like sip it.
No, I won't do it straight, but I will make an old fashioned or like a bourbon and ginger. It's really good.
But do you by yourself alone? You'll just pour it.
Rare, very, very rarely. Almost never.
I want to get to that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, for my
drinking on myself. Yeah. Just something about drinking by myself is always.
Neil's very close to that. Neil's drinking on a porch somewhere in the middle of Pennsylvania, crying. When's it going to end? When's it going to end? All right. Tony, one good thing or one bad thing of the week. You don't have to do both.
Good thing is I scheduled my vaccines. And
that's good. Yeah.
2 weeks I get the first one, and 6 weeks I'm done.
Damn, you're a superhero. We could have had you, I would have known that, we could have had you in because you would have been vaccinated.
Yeah, I'm going to walk around maskless.
Holy shit.
Great. I wouldn't do that because people will still get yelled at 24/7.
Yeah,
Tony
exactly.
Deyo's website is TonyDeyo.com. His Twitter is Instagram. I love about him. It's all at Tony Deyo. It's so, that's the way you do it, people. And I would like to tell you about his latest CD called Secret Headliner. You can hear Tony all over Sirius Radio, but if you go buy the Secret Headliner CD, you will be laughing in your homes during the pandemic. And by the time you're done laughing, hopefully the pandemic will be over.
Yes.
Tony, thank you so much for coming in and doing this with us via telephone.
This was a blast.
It is always a blast to have you on. You're a really good guest. All right, we'll see.
Thanks for the quiz show. That's been so amazing.
Yeah, the quiz. Thank you so much for those quizzes. Yeah, it's keeping us sane. Hopefully,
Thank you guys for playing.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't for you guys, I'd be sitting in my apartment staring at a screen.
You'd be playing with Carson.
Drinking whiskey.
Yes, drinking whiskey by myself.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Four Corners Podcast was created, hosted, produced, and engineered by me, Lenny Marcus. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcast.
Hey, my dark darlings. Hopefully, you've been enjoying our latest videos. We're a small crew here at Something Scary, so we have to make sure that the work that goes into our episodes gets done in order and on schedule. So that's why I want to tell you about our sponsor, Monday.com. Monday.com is an online teamwork platform that keeps your team connected from anywhere. I really enjoy the visual ease of using Monday.com. It helps banish the demons of confusing email chains or who's doing what and by when. It helps make sure everyone is aligned and on the same page. One of the things that I enjoy the most about Monday.com is that it's customizable, so it feels like it could fit any type of collaboration or industry. Build confidence within your team and reach every goal with ease. Visit Monday.com to start your free 2-week trial.